the plurality want restrictions in some capacity.
As drugs
But
become
again,
more
your poll was from
common
Jews.
and ubiquitous, the abortion pill is becoming more common and ubiquitous. You will not have to go to a doctor to receive it in the future. So if women do choose to take the abortion pill and terminate their pregnancy, what do you think our government's response should be if there is no doctor who prescribed the pill? Or it's some doctor in India, a fake doctor who's just selling pills, right? So they acquired the abortion pill and they chose to terminate their pregnancy. How should we penalize that woman? I think becomes the most politically toxic thing you could do, and that's where it has to end up. We don't want to penalize the women, but I feel like at the end of the day, if they're the one who ends up making the choice, then that's where we end up.
That's kind of total bullshit.
Which part?
So penalizing women for having
Wait, so if
abortions?
a woman chooses to take the abortion pill that she got illegally, then what should if abortion's illegal, what should the penalty be?
You want to jail women for terminating their own
I
pregnancy?
don't want to make abortion illegal.
You don't want to make abortion illegal, but if you do, if it is illegal, you think that
I'm
women
going
should be
down the
jailed?
steps. No, I'm going down the only steps that make sense. So if we make
Well, not
abortion
necessarily,
illegal
because
and
you're
somebody
talking
chooses
about-
to get an
yeah.
abortion, these are just, if we make a
Well,
law, then we have to prosecute people.
Should someone be, imprisoned for attempted suicide?
I don't think abortion should be illegal.
That's not
no,
my
I don't
point.
think.
But I
No,
think-
I
My point is
I don't
I'm
think you should be
abortion-
sent to
I'm
jail
taking
either.
But
issue
I
with
think
your
you're coming-
rationalization, which doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
I think I'd like to respond to this because you're looking at a very specific circumstances. You're creating a hypothetical scenario where all abortions are obtained by women getting these pills.
I'm talking about these
even if that
cases.
sir, so even if that does become the case, there's still going to be ways to police other forms of abortion. I agree with you that some things are going to slip through the cracks. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go prosecute women, and it doesn't mean we can't prevent abortion in other scenarios.
So how do you deal with the case? So a woman, she's
you
3
should
months
make it-
pregnant, she gets an
that's a good
abortion pill from
question.
India. What do we
You
do?
can't.
Abortion's
So
there-
what you have-
okay, first of all, there aren't abortion pills that will terminate your 3-month-old.
Okay, so
The abortion pills that exist are pretty early term.
okay, so let's say
Very
within
early term. Like
14
by the
weeks.
time you're 3 months,
Okay,
there's
so
a baby
they work
in
within
your
the first
body.
trimester, 14 weeks. So a woman acquires a pill from India that induces, an abortion to happen within 14 weeks, and it's illegal in whatever state she does it to. I'm trying to get to the base of it. How do we penalize it when there's no doctor
Well,
involved?
no, but I don't think this is getting to the base of it because we're talking about a restriction that applies to abortions across the state of Oklahoma at all points in conception with few potential exceptions, though I want to look into what they're saying with respect to those exceptions. You're talking about a specific scenario of abortion pills that would be particularly difficult to prove and prosecute. So I think what needs to happen is you have to ensure that those pills are not allowed in the United States of America, and anyone who sells them
We
is
should ensure
prosecuted.
fentanyl isn't in here
right.
either,
Okay,
though.
But what you're
Hold
saying
on,
is
hold on,
because
guys.
this would be difficult to prevent, it's not something that we should attempt to prevent.
Well,
and I
how
think
should
you
we
can attempt-
penalize it?
Okay.
Well, yeah, I
You
mean, the
can penalize
dealer.
it by-
You gotta
I-
wait.
I
and
think
you gotta
Seamus
wait and
makes
let
a really
people
good-
finish their point before you just start talking over each other.
I think Seamus makes a really good point, which is the dealer of the abortion pills should be the one who's
China?
held liable.
Good luck trying to go to India and
Well,
penalize
you know.
And then in
that.
those cases, you can't penalize anybody.
That's true
Oh,
of
okay.
drugs
Well,
too.
I think that's the future
same.
of abortion then in our country. It's people illegally acquiring abortion pills when they can't receive them from doctors in
And
in
it's 10
states where it's
weeks.
illegal.
I think you can get them up to 10 weeks.
I think the future of abortion pills is going to get it even further. But
But
fine.
I think to say that there are
So
instances that our laws can't account for is not an argument for why we shouldn't have these laws in the first place.
The argument is if you think it should be illegal because it terminates a human life, the issue is that you can't track early human life. So if you were to view abortion as no different than a murder, the issue is that someone who is born and has a life is tracked in some way. And when they go missing, the murder typically, not always, but will be noticed in some way. Someone went missing. A woman who gets pregnant doesn't tell anybody, then aborts the baby, there's no evidence of the existence of the loss of human life. If you were to view it in the exact same way, that it was a murder, then the law should be treating it identically as it was a murder. That is to say, it doesn't matter how the women commit the act. You can drive from Illinois to Indiana and illegally acquire a gun and use it to commit a murder. Yeah, it's still illegal.
So we will penalize the woman is what I'm trying to get to. Because if you do
That's
think
not what he
abortion's
said.
murder and then the woman on
Well,
her
no.
own volition acquires and then aborts, then she murdered the child. Then
Not necessarily, because intent has a lot to do with this. So if a person doesn't understand what they're doing, they don't recognizing that
Well,
they're
that-
killing a human
come
person
on.
because
But
they've been
hold- hold-
propagandized. No, I think there's a good
No,
point to be
no,
made there because
they're
women are told.
propagandized.
Yeah,
So
and women
for-
are told that
no,
this
stop,
isn't
stop,
murder.
stop.
So I think there
For
are
an
people who
insanity
fight
plea,
in wars.
For insanity pleas.
No,
if
I
you
don't think so.
That's the basis of an insanity plea, that you didn't know right from wrong. You can't plead insanity because you're literally insane. You plead that you don't know the difference between right and wrong. So if you go to court and they say, you killed, this has happened. A woman killed her kids because she said that once they become 12, original sin will send them to hell.
That's insane.
And then she, yes.
Yeah, yes,
And so
exactly.
she
That's a
bludgeoned
good-
her kids to death. And then the court said, why did you do it? And she called the police after she did it. And she was like, I need help cleaning this up. I killed them. They said, why? And she goes, to make sure they went to heaven. So she was deemed insane.
Yeah.
See, that would be insanity. So the issue is, if you want to penalize abortion as though it were murder, you would have to treat the woman as a murderer.
Yes.
Well, so basically, murder is handled by the states. And I would argue that as a matter of legislation, it makes sense to be merciful to these women because oftentimes they literally do not know what they're doing. They're told an abortion is a procedure just like any other, where they're flushing some cells out of their body and not a human life. And so I would absolutely prosecute the doctors because they know exactly what they're doing. I think the vast majority of women in these circumstances have no idea.
I totally and 100% disagree with you. I think that women know what abortion is. They know what pregnancy is. And when you're pregnant, you can tell that you're pregnant. A lot of things change about your body very quickly, and you know that you're pregnant. You know that you're carrying a human life. It's apparent.
Pun intended.
What?
Pun
well,
intended.
sure.
It's apparent.
But you know that you're pregnant. You know what that entails. No one doesn't know what they're doing or thinks it really is a clump of cells, except perhaps, girls under 16. I do not think that women should be prosecuted for having abortions any more than I think people who are suicidal should be prosecuted for attempted murder. It just doesn't make any sense.